Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan, trader for the last 13 years and mentor of technical analysis and trading with the chart guys for the last 8. In this video, we're going to check in on the earnings reactions from Apple and Amazon, how it's impacting the market, and whether or not the bears are going to continue following through from here as we look towards the end of the week and what to expect for next week. So checking in on SPY, when I'm watching the hourly downtrend that we currently have, I prefer to watch the ETFs. And when I'm watching the futures chart, I'm generally looking at the 4-hour time frame balanced with the hourly. They're a little bit different, but for simplicity's sake, SPY's hourly chart is our guide on this current pullback. Daily stair-step drop the last few days. And it was a good guide today where we had our resistance level from yesterday, 451.44. Nice morning bounce on the gap down open, but just an hourly lower high, and then pulled back from there into potentially tomorrow's going to be key because it's either going to confirm an hourly uptrend into the daily bounce, or we're going to just keep the hourly downtrend going and drop to the lower low. And looking at the earnings reactions here after hours, Amazon's got a bullish reaction and is up fairly significantly. We are currently trading at the highest levels on this entire move. So weekly bull flag confirming. And now we have a double bottom here on the weekly in the 125.92, 126.11 zone. And so that's now our most important midterm support level. And Apple had an initial bullish reaction and then went bearish, but insignificant. It is down, 1% or 2. But for both, we have to watch and see what the reaction is to the conference call. And we know that can shift things at times, but overall, we will call it an Apple bearish reaction and an Amazon bullish reaction. And so with that, we look at the NASDAQ here after hours, and it's doing absolutely nothing. It's as flat as you can get, just in terms of for two major names to have earnings, they are offsetting each other. And most names that have already reported are not reacting. So for QQQ, a little bit different. We broke the hourly downtrend and then had the pullback, and we had a nice 15-minute head and shoulders today that led to that hourly consolidation into the end of the day. But other than that, I still have really I have a hedge position at this point, just watching to see what this consolidation looks like. And I did exit pretty much around break even, a short from yesterday, but overall being just a bit cautious before I go aggressive in any direction right now. I'm still watching Netflix for the potential weekly lower high, and Netflix was a little bit tricky because many times you'll see a name have relative strength or relative weakness, and it will last pretty much all day, but Netflix was a significant amount of relative strength all morning, and then a significant amount of relative weakness in the afternoon. And so I'm viewing this on Netflix as, can we hold the low of today tomorrow? If we do, I'm scouting an hourly lower high to be the result of that bounce, knowing that the bears will have to confirm an hourly downtrend if we're going to try and shape up this weekly lower high. So still keeping an eye on it. And as a bear, I want to see Netflix divided by QQQ roll over into daily consolidation and ideally head back to the recent lows. So that trade is still on the table, but I don't have high conviction in it just yet. But we'll see if I can get a day trade and try and turn it into a swing trade, but I would need the bears to show up tomorrow. Semiconductors down, testing the daily support level of 152.29, and we broke it by 13 pennies, but bouncing off that level, the bulls would have to confirm the hourly uptrend if we were to have confidence. If we were to have confidence that that level can hold. So pretty much for many names going into tomorrow, it's can the bulls confirm the hourly uptrend, or does the hourly downtrend continue? Tesla had a pretty notable bounce. Held the low of yesterday, first thing, and then another name where the bulls controlled the day. 15-minute had a nice equilibrium. It broke bull. Remember how I've said if you missed the first 15, 20 minutes of trading, look for late morning 15-minute tightening ranges as a common setup. And this one was a good one where the bull break of 257.20 did end up getting another 1% of follow through with 0 red flags at any point. Just 15-minute uptrend, 15-minute EMA 12 support. So a solid little bounce there. Bigger picture, we're going to watch for the bull to try and form a weekly higher low compared to 240. with EMA 12 there as well. And because we broke bear with zero follow through, I do start keeping an eye out for a possible falling wedge. And I draw it and make a note of it, but I don't have high conviction in this either. I just watch to see. And if we were to have a red day tomorrow, pretty much when I, draw a falling wedge like this, I say, all right, one more time. If we react, I know that this is worth paying attention to. So if we have a red day tomorrow and then hold this downtrending support line, then I'm going to be paying attention to this falling wedge and potentially using it. At this point, it's just observing it. So when I draw a rising or a falling wedge, I definitely want to see whether it's support or resistance, at least one more touch to tell me, yes, you're on the right track. Scout that wedge. Financial sector, still a potential bull flag at this point. Bears are not following through significantly. We're watching the weekly EMA 12. We're watching the retracement size on this pullback. The big question, bigger picture, is this a monthly lower high forming compared to 36.76? There's no indication of that, but I know that bigger picture over the next 2 months, that's something I'm watching for as a possibility. And that resistance level is still about 4 or 5% away. But we would have to confirm the daily downtrend at a bare minimum to even consider that a monthly lower high might be shaping up. And you could be on the 2-day time frame if that smooths it out and makes it more clear for you, but bears have to prove some follow through. Right now it's just a slow fade and still healthy consolidation overall. This is less healthy. So that's a good example. I mean, they both broke out, healthcare and the financial sector, and the current pullback here, if we want to do retracement size from July 7th. So from back here, retracement size on XLF is about 40% or so. And for the healthcare sector, we're looking at about 55%. So significant difference there. And what that means is the probability that XLV forms a lower high next bounce is higher than for XLF. So XLV still pulling back and no sign of a shift there. No sign of a weekly high or low. We're keeping an eye out for it, but not yet. So overall, another consolidation day. Not a lot of bear follow through, some hourly bounces, but overall not a lot of information. IWM did see a loss of 193.18 support only by 12 cents. Bears definitely need more follow through than that, but that technically is a triple top rejection as far as I'm concerned. And the start of weekly consolidation. Again, it's the only start by 12 pennies, but bears are going to hope to knock this back down, ideally to lose the EMA 12, because if we hold the EMA 12, it's going to be the same. It's pretty much going to be the gold monthly chart with a triple top and then a bull flag attempt. Gold on the monthly, triple top, and a bull flag attempt. We'll talk more about gold in just a moment. That's what you want your brain to do when you're looking at charts. You look at so many charts that it's just, this looks like this. And in this instance, it doesn't really help me, but there are many times where I do that and then it's something that has already played out. And then I go back and look at, all right, this is how it shaped up and this is how it ended up playing out. And just recognizing similarities. ARKK, a little bit more pullback. Again, we had the hourly bounce, not really significant. Coin had earnings after hours, the crypto stock, and that has decent holdings. ARKK has decent holdings, and you can see coin went up and then dumped. And ARKK is very much doing the same thing after hours. Fairly uneventful overall, but something to keep an eye on. So at this point, no sign of a daily bounce until we confirm hourly uptrends. Chinese names had nice bounces, but because of the size of the pullback, bulls do need to be cautious of daily lower highs forming. If we confirm daily downtrends, that's a considerable shift. I personally will be out of BABA in my IRA if we lose 94.56 support, especially heading into earnings, because that for me would increase probabilities that a monthly equilibrium is coming rather than the monthly bull break. But earnings will be a big factor there. And if you look at the other Chinese names, K-Web, same deal, big pullback, big bounce. Bulls would love another green day to try and eliminate that daily lower high quickly forming. FXI, K-Web. NIO, daily bull flag confirmed. Very strong. NIO is acting as a laggard to XPEV. So XPEV led the breakout, and then NIO joined in. And if you look at that, look at XPEV divided by NIO, without even looking at this chart, I know that it went up and had a big breakout and has now pulled back pretty hard over the last, I'd say over the last 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. But it was all XPEV, and now it has shifted to NIO because NIO confirmed the daily bull flag to a higher high, new daily support level, hourly, oversold, back burner in extended hours, but that was the time for bulls to be buying. XPEV daily bounce, not nearly as strong. There is space for the daily lower high, so we are going to be keeping an eye out for that. This bird is brutal. We got an hourly uptrend. A loss of the hourly uptrend will be the indication that the daily lower high is shaping up. So many Chinese names are watching for potential daily lower highs. Riot, still chopping around sideways. And this definitely reminds me of this sideways range. It's going to be dependent on Bitcoin and earnings. MARA has earnings Tuesday, and that's going to impact Riot. They're very similar charts. Riot's, I believe, a bit stronger. MARA divided by Riot shows us they're very similar the last week plus. All right, bird. So very similar the last week plus. But Riot will react to MARA earnings. And again, these names are positioned very well if Bitcoin can shape up the weekly high or low. Bitcoin is battling to try and hold weekly EMA 12. It is a potential daily falling wedge. We have a 12-hour tightening range to be watching. And this would be the potential falling wedge to be keeping an eye on. If this breaks bull, then Riot and MARA are positioned very well. So definitely paying attention over the next few days. I wish earnings were not going to be a factor for MARA on Tuesday, but that's the way it goes. AI, daily inside bar, uneventful. PLTR, daily inside bar. Still a healthy daily chart overall. Earnings here look like they're on Monday. So overall holding strong. No major red flags there. Forgot to look at NVDA. Inside bar, I assume. Yep. Inside bar on NVDA. Cannabis stock. So TLRY is trying to confirm a daily bull flag. This is worth paying attention to just because there's so many shorts in this sector. And it's the kind of thing where, you know, if momentum gets going, it can get going. And Reddit is definitely keeping an eye on this ticker. And so we had the earnings reaction that was significant. And now the question is, can we confirm this bull flag? And we have a tightening hourly range to be watching. I'm just viewing this as an equilibrium. Anything above 229 would be a higher low. And if it doesn't break tomorrow, it's going to break on Monday. And that's going to have significant short-term implications. And we have a double top at 255 from the high of Monday and Wednesday. So worth keeping an eye on. And again, the psychedelic names, still watching those. CMPS has to break 932. We rejected today. If we break 932, the weekly higher low is set in this year-long equilibrium that will break either in August or September. So still paying attention there. We had earnings report, not a very significant reaction. Looks like MNMD had a bearish reaction to earnings. It's continuing to tighten up on the daily time frame. Just a couple low cap names that I'm watching to see if they can shape up a bull break. The dollar. The dollar is, we got to see if we lose 4-hour EMA 12 here because we've been holding it this whole move up. If we lose it, that's the first indication of daily consolidation. And we know we have to lose the daily uptrend if a weekly lower high is going to be set. So overall, the dollar is still strong. And again, there's very inverse relationships going on right now, of course, with the metals, but also with Bitcoin and also with stocks. We had big green dollar day yesterday, big red day in stocks, small red day in the dollar today, small green day in stocks. So definitely watching the dollar to see if this weekly lower high shapes up. And bigger picture to see if the 4-month higher low shapes up. Because if it does, then names like Netflix and Meta and maybe even the S&P 500 could be shaping up 4-month lower highs. Again, whenever I talk about the 4-month time frame, really the weekly is the shortest term time frame to go along with that. So if we're not confirmed weekly downtrends, bears aren't proving anything. Confirm a weekly downtrend in those stocks and ETFs, and then we'll talk about a 4-month lower high. And the dollar has to confirm a weekly uptrend for us to be talking about a 4-month higher low. Keep an eye on the dollar. Not enough traders are watching the dollar as a major factor. And the strength of the inverse correlation comes and goes, but it's stronger again. There was a period where it was weaker and not really a factor. It's definitely a factor, more so recently in my observation. Oil, quick bounce right off daily EMA 12. And looking right back up at the high. So very strong daily chart still for oil. New short-term support level is 78.69 for the bulls to try and keep full control. Natural gas had a little green day today, but overall not much going on there. And with the dollar, the metals still weak. So gold, on any bounce, we're just going to watch for a daily lower high. And silver as well. Space for that daily downtrend to continue. Miners testing the support zone here. So we had a double bottom previously, and the miners are close to breaking that level. This is GDX. So overall, you could tell today was definitely an iffy day, an unsure day, where with the gap down open on some names, we saw some bounces, but with Apple and Amazon earnings still to go, market wasn't really giving conviction in one direction or the other. But heading into tomorrow, I'm keeping an eye out for a Netflix hourly lower high, and we will see if we get any new information on these conference call reactions on Amazon and Apple. Apple's weakening a good bit now. Apple is the lowest level in a month. Looks like monthly consolidation underway for Apple. Depends where we open, but that may be the case here. Monthly stair-step pattern. We haven't even confirmed a monthly uptrend. But monthly stair-step the last 6 months is potentially breaking bear. So watch all these names. Meta, is it time for that monthly stair-step to consolidate? Maybe. Bears have a lot of proving to do it on Meta. But I'm watching Netflix. All right, do good things. I don't have any content for the end of the video here because it's raining. Let's go with, made a Twitter post today about seeking mutually beneficial relationships in your life, in every aspect of life, in business relationships, with friends, with family. It is something that should always be at the forefront of your mind, in my opinion. And just, my example is buying an investment property and letting someone live there cheaper than is the going rate for rent in exchange for the individual being, someone that I'm friends with, and I know that they will treat it as I would treat it, take care of my investment. So just an example, yesterday, gutters overflowing, comes and gets the ladder, cleans out the gutters, puts the dehumidifier in the crawl space and the fan, and ensures that there's no moisture. Just all these things that, a tenant isn't going to do. Some tenants wouldn't even let you know that the gutter is overflowing and dumping water right at the base of the house. So that's an easy example. And there are plenty of them. Friends that have small businesses around the holidays. You need to get gifts for friends and family. You can buy from your friends and family to give gifts to your friends and family. You can keep the money in the ecosystem. You send money here, you get the gift, you give the gift here. Anyways, just a mindset to try and be in. And you look around nature, and so many species are mutually beneficial with each other for good reason. It is the way to thrive in nature. Do good things.